A great many of us have gotten tired of the fight against COVID 19. That's understandable. It's gone on for a long, long time. We're a society who expects things to happen quickly. And after all of those quick actions, what's happening except nobody really knows what's going on. The United States appears to have more and more problems than ever before. Nothing having worked right. A President Trump who, I don't know, barges from nonsense to nonsense. Now trumpeting some lady who is she declares herself that she's a doctor, but then apparently she believes different things are that the United States is attempting to vaccinate against religion, and I don't know, vaccines from the devil or something or other was as well said that this lady is talking about. Just crazy bunch of nonsense. And yet he's supporting that as a person from whom we should obtain information. We're now at 150,000 United States people dead from coronavirus. I'll not go back over all the different things that Trump said about going away and all of that, but it's still here. It's still killing people. And every time that people use another excuse about, oh, well, it's not doing this and it's not doing that, we see that it is doing this and it is doing that. It is killing children. Children do bring the germs back. Oh my goodness, how can, as parents, how can you not even think of the fact about children bringing home from their classrooms colds and how those run the whole ramp of the house, to other kids in the family, to the adults. All we need to do is think a little bit about it and we'd realize where the logic is and where the truth is. I mean, we don't need any of these doctors to talk about that. We already know. Children, yes, are going to bring it back. No, they aren't going to be perhaps as virulently susceptible to some kind of an infection. But they end up doing it, especially when the kid is going back to school day after day after day. It gets exposed to it time and time again. Well, eventually they get it. But now we have 150,000 because of all of the people we're doing the openings. Nobody wants to go back and close down again. Having a big battle about that. I mean, this is just a bunch of nonsense. And the greatest problem is that nobody is just taking charge and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then everybody just follows it, does it, succeeds or it doesn't succeed. But at least it is an actual and valiant effort. That's something that I'm bringing into and making a, not necessarily an analogy, but a correlation to a movie that I saw recently that I happen to recommend to you called Greyhound. Tom Hanks stars in it. As I was reading the information about it, found out that in fact Tom Hanks wrote the screenplay. Pretty amazing. The guy's pretty talented. You take the story of the Battle of the Atlantic in World War II, said to be the longest naval battle ever, because it went from, 39 to 45, something like that. Here we go. Yes, started after the war began, lasted more than 5 years until the Germans surrendered in May 45. Involved thousands of ships in more than 100 convoy battles and perhaps 1,000 single ship encounters. As I understand it, it was 3,500 ships that were sunk, and it was primarily the U-boats that were at first German and later combined with Italian U-boats as the Italians entered into it. The back was kind of broken, as I understand it, more around 1943, but it continued until 1945. The story goes on about one such convoy as he is taking, he meaning Tom Hanks in his capacity as the commander of this squadron of boats attempting to protect a whole bunch of merchant ships going from the United States over to England. And one of the things that was pointed out at the end of the movie, in a whole little short discussion about the Battle of the Atlantic, was the loss of life, and that it exceeded 72,000 people. So after all of those years, after all of those battles, U-boats, ships, all of this vast damage and harm, it's less than half of the deaths that have occurred as a result of COVID-19. COVID-19 has caused twice as many losses of life as the entire battle for the Atlantic in World War II. And yet, we're upset because people are still being made to stay home, to not be able to go out and do all of the different things that they used to do, and have apparently no thought for all of the people dying. Grandmothers, grandfathers, parents, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, children, little children dying as well.